Greatly appreciate your being here and your purpose this afternoon. While we're not here to discuss the merits of the charter school, I do want to make it clear that neither I nor the school committee are opposed to charter schools in principle. We support school choice, we support innovation. The sole reservation that we have is with the present funding arrangements, and I would like to make that very clear indeed. I want to take you to April 1776. A man wrote, "A man must be indifferent to the sneers of a modern Englishman to mention in their company the names of Sidney, Harrington, Locke, Milton, Needham, Burnet, and Hoadley. They will convince any candid mind that there is no good government but is what is republican. The only valuable part of the British Constitution is so, because the very definition of a republic is an empire of laws and not of men. That, as a republic is the best of governments, so that particular arrangement of the powers of society, or in other words, that form of government which is best contrived to secure an impartial and exact execution of the laws, is the best of republics." You will know better than I the words of John Adams. Secure an impartial and exact execution of the laws. When I applied for and then became a citizen of the United States and this Commonwealth, I believed that John Adams' thinking lay at the heart of the Constitution. My recent experience of governance in this state has been an almost overwhelming disappointment. I should say, as an aside, it has not just been a disappointment about the charter school process. I shall take little of your time with detail this afternoon. I am sure that there are many with more seniority as citizens of Gloucester who wish to address you. We should remember that we are here not assessing the process for the consideration and approval of a charter school as it is written, but what actually happened. For my part, I would ask you to determine the answers to the following 10 questions. Does statute require the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education to hold a public hearing as part of the process for considering a charter school application? Does statute provide for the delegation of the board's responsibility to hold a public hearing to another party? Do statute and regulation require a board member to attend such a hearing? Does the Board of Education have authority to set aside the requirement that a board member be present at a charter application public hearing? Did the board fulfill the requirement that it ensure that the applicants had demonstrated that they had met all of the 12 assessment and approval criteria established by statute and regulation? What evidence is there that could lead the board to be assured that the charter school will, in the words of the application, meet its enrolment projections through demonstration of need and support for the proposed charter school in the communities from which students will be likely to enroll? How did the board satisfy itself that the city's population is sufficient to support a district as distinct from a regional charter school? Why was the board not informed that the recommendation of the highly regarded Charter School Office did not apparently influence the final recommendation to approve? Why did the board ignore the significance of the general level of municipal aid as distinct from Chapter 70 as the trigger for the conditional approval of the school? And finally, what confidence can communities have in government if an impartial and exact execution of the laws does not lie at the heart of all government intentions and actions? Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the superintendent? If you would be so kind as either today or tomorrow submit your written testimony to us, particularly the 10 questions I think would be very helpful for us to have. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Next, we'd like to call Greg Verga, the chair of the school committee.
As you just mentioned, my name is Greg Verga, chairman of the Gloucester School Committee. On behalf of the school committee, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to come here this evening. Those of us who are opposed to this charter school have been criticized for just not accepting the decision of the DESE. It's a curious process that under normal circumstances expects a school district to live with the vote to grant a charter while at the same time encourages charter proponents to try again when they are denied. As will be demonstrated tonight, these are not normal circumstances. We're suggesting that this process was indeed flawed. I would like to present an overview of our concerns, and I'm sure subsequent speakers will go into further detail. First of all, the public hearing. According to the regulation, the holding of a public hearing is required by statute and regulation. The regulations require that a member of the BESC attend the hearing. The charter application confirms that the public hearing is a critical component to the application review process. Knowing that no BESC member had confirmed that they would attend, the DESC went ahead with the hearing anyway. A lot of this is going to be repeated from what you've already heard, and I'm sure you're going to hear it a lot throughout the evening. At its meeting on January 27th, the BESC voted to retroactively waive the attendance requirement for the December 11th hearing. The status of the public hearing. The charter application form confirms that public hearings are an opportunity for applicants to demonstrate broad community support and for the opponents to demonstrate opposition in public and in the presence of members of the Charter School Office and the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education. The Commissioner dismissed the public input by advising the Board that the public hearing is not a popularity contest. He also advised the BESC that it would be dangerous to subject new charter school applicants to whether they can garner community support. The post-hearing review. After the December 11 hearing, DESC staff met with the founding group as it is required to do. The purpose of this meeting, among other things, is to discuss substantive concerns raised at the hearing. Of the many concerns raised in documents and at the public hearing, the DESC record indicates that only one was raised at the post-hearing meeting. Meeting the application criteria. Statute provides that the BESC establish approval criteria. 12 approval criteria for a charter school is set out in regulations. The BESC failed to ensure compliance with approval criteria. Criterion C, to assure that charter schools will meet its enrollment projections through demonstration of need and support for the proposed charter school in the communities from which the students would likely enroll. The only evidence of support for the school were the 17 people who spoke at the hearing, 16 people who wrote letters of support, and the names of 15 people on what the applicant claimed was a 400-plus signature petition. After recommending approval for the February 13, 2009, the Commissioner asked the DESC's Director of Charter Schools, and this is an email quote, "Do we have verification that 400 parents signed up as supportive of and interested in enrolling their children in the Gloucester Charter?" The charter school director responded, "We do not. The founding group included in the application the first page of a petition that they said was signed by 400 or so parents. We did not ask for and will not take additional material after the application has been submitted, so we have never had the full petition." Criterion L, to demonstrate that the applicant has access to school facilities that are in compliance with municipal building codes and other applicable laws, affordable and adequate to meet the school's program requirements. To date, there is no indication that a location has been secured. The 30,000 population threshold you've heard, the statute requires the proposal of a regional charter school at the community within which it is established has a population of less than 30,000. It is likely that the population of Gloucester is now less than 30,000. It is not clear that the DESC verified the population or which data should be used for verification. The BESC consideration of the application. When board member Dr. Jeff Howard asked that there be a vigorous discussion of the concerns raised by opponents of the proposal, the chairperson thanked him for his remarks and immediately put the motion to approve the motion to approve to a vote. It was clear that the haste was in part due to the fact that one board member needed to catch a plane. The DESC review process. The DESC's Charter School Office reviews the application and makes recommendations to approve or not approve. This is for the public to see. You have this in your packet. The document states the founding group is not recommended to be chartered because overall they did not meet the criteria for the final charter application. If you look in the bold print, it says do not recommend. It took a Freedom of Information request for the district to receive this document. It appears that members of the board may also have had difficulty reviewing this document prior to their vote on February 24, 2009. At that meeting, BESC member Tom Fortman said, "We have a charter school office, this charter school office, that has a very good track record. They have a national reputation. I'm confident that the charter school office has done their homework." I too am confident that the CSO did their homework. Unfortunately, others may not have. No one felt it necessary to point out to Mr. Fortman that